Hello Internet and welcome back to Tromsø Twilight. My name is Vincent and I'm here to talk about books, music, movies that I enjoy or find interesting. Today I'm going to be talking about Fiona Apple's third album, Extraordinary Machine, released in 2005. I'm talking about it today partly because I recently got this vinyl edition, which I think was new last year, and I believe there was never a vinyl ever released previously. So I'm excited to have it. The other reason that I want to talk about it today is because on recent videos I've been doing, I felt like I was talking about things that I had some reservations about, or that I was kind of discussing the pros and cons, and I wanted to do a video about something that I just love, and I have basically nothing bad to say about Extraordinary Machine. I think that it is brilliant. For those who don't know Fiona Apple, a quick introduction. She released her first album when she was still a teenager in 1996. That album was called Tidal. I had it before her second album came out, but I didn't have it in 1996. I think I got it just before her second album was released. And that album was a very beautiful, kind of singer songwriter, soul influenced album, kind of sultry. It was good. She had beautiful singing. She's a very talented pianist, and she already was a good lyricist, but she hadn't quite found her really unique writing voice yet. There were a couple of really amazing songs on that album though. First Taste is beautiful, and my favourite is a song called Shadow Boxer, which I'll put down in the comments. The writing is just incredible. For her second album, she teamed up with John Bryan, who you may know from his solo work or from his movie scores. He did the music for I Heart Huckabees. He did the music for Punch Drunk Love. He's a really good arranger as well as a producer, and he brought a kind of slightly quirky, different sound to her songs that lifted her out of this kind of soul pop music that she was doing before. And between them, the two of them created this very unique sound that could kind of appeal both to people who like pop and soul, but also more to like an indie rock audience. And they did this album that was called When the Pawn. The title is actually a long poem, but everybody calls it When the Pawn. And on that album, she had lyrics that were a little more confrontational. They were also a bit more coded. She wrote a lot about relationships, but she was also kind of very sort of self, like doing a lot of self-examination in quite a brutal way. That album's just great. If you've never heard it, please do listen to it. The most famous song, Fast As You Can, has got this incredible, fast, almost spoken word verse, which is just so weird. And then right in the middle, it shifts into this slow section where she has one of my favourite ever lines, where she says, I'll be your girl if you tell me it's a gift and you give me some more of your drugs. Okay, so after this album, which made her pretty big, people were really looking forward to her next project. And when The Pawn came out in 99, and I believe that around 2001, she went back to the studio with John Bryan and they started working on her third album. However, this didn't work out and they recorded a whole album and it was never released. A lot of it's been leaked subsequently on the internet, so if you want to listen to it, you can find it on YouTube. It's kind of disrespectful, but everybody's curious. I've listened to it. Stories vary as to whether the label wouldn't release it or whether Fiona Apple was not happy with it. But she went back into the studio with other producers and she re-recorded the whole album apart from the first and the last track, which are still John Bryan arrangements. So this is the record, and it's honestly incredible. There isn't a bad song on this album. It starts with the song Extraordinary Machine, which is this metaphor about being a machine that can take whatever life gives you and turn it into something. It's a breakup song, but in a very unusual way. The last song of the album is also a very optimistic song. It's kind of a song to the listener, whatever you're going through, if you've had a breakup or if you're feeling alone, just finding some pleasures in the basic experiences of life. And she's saying, not that it's going to be fine, but you're going to be better than fine. She says that she's going to be better than fine. The sound of this album, it still has this piano based songwriting on a lot of the songs. Um, I would say at least more than half are kind of based around a piano part. And where the piano is in, it's mixed up quite high in the mix, but it's more of a rock arrangement on a lot of the songs. Like the drums are really forward and they're really banging. I think two tracks, Questlove from the Roots plays drums. On the track Oh Sailor, they've got Fiona Apple singing her own backup singing as if she's like a choir. There's brass on some of the songs. Like the arrangements are beautiful. They also have worked in like a lot of really great like moments of interest, drum breaks, stops, starts, transitions into different instrumentation for different sections of the song. And she's really singing with like great intensity, even more than on her second album. On the song "The Window," which is about looking at an ex-lover and their new partner through a window, and she's singing about how she decides to break the window because if she doesn't smash the window, she's going to smash one of them or herself. Uh, and she keeps repeating it and building this intensity in the way that she's singing until she does sound quite insane. But the song that I want to really bring to your attention and that is probably one of my favorite ever songs is the song Red, 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 which is not a song I hear people talk that much about when they talk about Fiona Apple, and happily people do talk a lot about Fiona Apple now. But this song, in my opinion, is one of the best written songs I've ever heard. In each verse of this song, she starts by talking about something I think she probably genuinely doesn't understand, and then she uses it to talk about a relationship. In the first verse, she talks about colors and color theory and applies it to a relationship. So she sings, I don't understand about complementary colors and what they say. Side by side, they both get bright. Together, they both get grey. But he's been pretty much yellow, and I've been kind of blue. And all I see is red, 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 red now. What am I going to do? And what an incredible way of describing a relationship where two people shine individually but together lose their luster. He becomes cowardly, yellow. She becomes sad, blue. And in the end, all she's left with is rage. She starts the second verse by talking about the cultural significance of diamonds. She says, I don't understand about diamonds and why men buy them. What's so impressive about diamonds except the mining? But it's dangerous work trying to get to you too. And I think if I didn't have to kill myself doing it, maybe I wouldn't think so much of you. So she talks about this thing she doesn't understand about how diamonds become valuable just because they're difficult to mine. But then she realizes that the danger in the relationship with this person who is difficult to access is maybe what makes her so attracted to him. And each verse has the same structure, describing this mystery, turning it into a metaphor for a relationship, and then repeating 5 words in the same place. It's such beautiful songwriting. And I won't sit here and quote the whole song, but if you go and listen to it, as it goes on, she elevates this thing about I don't understand up to more a kind of existential discussion of how she meets a life with no certainties. So I could sit here and quote lyrics to you all day, but it really doesn't do justice to the songs because the way that she sings and delivers these lines is also incredible. I wanted to talk about how brilliantly written Red, Red, Red is as an example because I think that Fiona Apple really should be in the discussion about who are the greatest songwriters. You know, people have these discussions all the time. People talk about Bob Dylan, they talk about Nick Cave, they talk about Leonard Cohen, and I don't hear her mentioned in the same conversations, but she really should be. If you remove rappers from the discussion, to me, there are two people in my generation who can write this well. Fiona Apple is 2 years older than me, and I've been interested in writing and songwriting and also tried to do some of that myself over the years, and I've always had an enormous admiration for her. The other person I think maybe is comparable in how impressive they are at writing is Joanna Newsom, but Joanna Newsom writes these sprawling, abstract, poetic songs, whereas Fiona Apple really has the ability to use like the traditional song structure and just blow your fucking mind. Just to finish off, I will say if I have any reservations to share, it's that I don't love the packaging in the new edition. This was the same cover they had on the CD, but it didn't have this white bar and this text wasn't in red, and I don't know why they changed it. Maybe I just don't like change, but I don't think it looks as good. I also miss the picture of her that used to be on the back of the CD, but I will say it sounds beautiful. The transition from CD to vinyl sounds great. I don't think they remastered it or anything, but I'm just so happy to have a physical copy. Please do write me a comment if you've listened to this album, what you think about it. What's your favourite Fiona Apple album? What's your favourite Fiona Apple song? Have I missed anything where I've been talking about it? I have, because I've just focused on a couple of things. Who do you think should be in the conversation for the best songwriters? Let me know. Thanks for listening. Take care for now and see you soon.